All right, welcome back to a fireside chat with your hosts Bryce and Kevin. You have stumbled upon us. Well, Bryce is reopening his browser here.
Wait, are we
You've
are we speaking in
stumbled
the
upon
third
us.
person? Kevin
Well,
is
I was
listening to
giving him.
Bryce.
I was more. I was bringing him up to date to what we were doing, which was ironically we were trying to figure out ideas for the fireside because we didn't
I
fireside.
I just thought of a
Like
great
Shatner
intro,
there.
if I
What?
may.
What is this?
Are you ready for this?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Fireside Chat. We're just stoking the flames there, and come join us.
We're stoking the flames. So,
The
do
fire.
you want to pretend like we just did an intro and that was the intro?
Well,
Is
I
that?
was, I was throwing out intro ideas.
Oh, I mean, do we need? I thought you said you didn't want an intro for this.
Welcome back. We're roasting those marshmallows, and there's they're
What?
getting a little
Why are there
toasty
marshmallows now?
because it's a fucking fireside. Like we're by a fire in the
Yeah,
middle
but
of the
that just
summer
so. But you
in
so
Florida in hurricane season.
in hurricane season, and our s'mores keep blowing away, and we're
We
pissed.
we have
We're
fires
so
that can
annoyed,
withstand the rains of hurricanes.
man. So we what did we was last week when we talked about the G36, I think.
It was.
Yeah, it was
But
last week. Okay,
now we're focusing
because
on
now
a
I guess we're
movie.
we're a weekly show. I can say that. So last week we were talking about uh,
The
the parts or
nuances.
S5 tactical specifically with
Hmm.
in how to purchase a G36 and
Right.
kind of along those same lines. Kevin and I were looking at some other things to talk about. And then that kind of turned into because I was looking for material for an article I was thinking about writing. And we kind of just started down on Gunbroker and guns.com again. So you have interrupted us or joined us for another
So
fireside gunbroker guns.com
allow
internet
me
search.
allow me to ask you a question.
Okay. Ask.
If
Keeping the pace up because if I have to edit out a bunch of fucking pauses, I'm
uh,
gonna lose my mind.
if you are hiding in an air
Holy
duct,
shit!
oh
Agency
my
Trade-in
god,
USAS 12.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, and he's gone. I was gonna
What?
segue into the odd, but you're gone.
That's crazy work. These are
Bryce's mind is an
semiotic.
enigma.
Oh my god! I'm gonna send you. Okay, ask the question, but then look at what I'm sending you. I'm
Well,
sorry. Continue.
I was gonna say, if you're hiding in an air duct and someone's poking the air duct to their AUG, are you at the peak of your existence?
If- as long as those people are classically trained and in ballet, then yes. Oh my god.
What?
The
What?
bandera.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my
You can't
god.
you can't be a bandito without a bandera.
Fucking Mary or who the hell's the flamboyant Hispanic guy? Everybody not mariachi.
Oh, it's in 38
Liberace's
Super.
1911.
Oh, it's in 38 Super too.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
yes.
even
I love
better.
38 Super. 38 Super, super cool. So if
Ay.
listeners aren't aware, 38 Super is the same overall length as 45 ACP, which means it can fit in the same length magazines. The total length of the magazines are the same. They just have a reinforcement rib, which makes them more advantageous to 9mm in 1911. So 38 Supers usually run a little better.
I wonder if it's 38 Super because other countries ban air quote military calibers.
It very well could be. It uses the same projectile, so that wouldn't surprise me. It is interesting that they specify 38 Super plus P, but that could just be guns.com and what's on the chamber. But that is actually pretty cool. It's Liberace's 1911. But what more specifically were we talking about in regards what thought process did I interrupt when I was trying to do our audio checks?
Thought process. We were talking about AUGs. I was
Yeah.
segueing into AUGs and how cool AUGs are.
So
Augrific.
I was thinking about pursuing for I feel bad mentioning this. It's like, hey, it's something I was gonna do for the channel, and now I don't want to do it because I don't want to do the thing. So,
Oh,
but I wanted to. Okay, so I haven't ruled this out. I'm not saying no. I'm
hooray.
just saying, like, okay, so I was talking to Kevin about an article I was gonna write, and I like the idea of like pursuing guns that you can't just necessarily buy outright. And I say that more for the G30 nowadays, kind of what we were talking about last week was buying it in 2025. You can't just
Mhm.
necessarily go to the gun store and grab one off a rack. I mean, you can if you have one that's for sale and it's
If
used and
if you have Bandera money, you can.
yeah, and they're usually not cheap. I mean, they're typically the Tommy built ones are not cheap. And then if they're under 2 grand, it's usually because it's an SL8 and
Mhm.
nobody really wants those.
No,
So people are
unless you're sniping.
well, yeah. Well, even then, I don't even know if they're inherently accurate. I don't know much about them because I mean, they're just an upsetting pastime for G36 lovers. So I say that to say that or in this recently we found out that the same company is actively selling their UMP receivers, which made Kevin very happy.
I was
And
giddy.
so there are prospects to have the so technically those receivers should work with the 9 mil and 40 cal versions of the UMP as well, because the receiver is actually what the you know what was important for that. So the
Right,
magazines,
colloquially known
everything.
as the
Yeah, so I think that's super cool along the same lines of the G36. You can't necessarily just go buy it unless you go buy USC, which equally hateful. So I
Mhm.
think it's a really neat option. Now, if you're kind of aware of the surplus market, you may have seen a couple of the Steyr AUG kits and you're like, "Why are they only $200?"
Why? Tell us,
Well,
Bryce. Tell us.
they are not compatible with the civilian
What?
receivers. And even if they were,
Oh,
Steyr doesn't
no.
sell the receivers. So any of the
What?
receivers you've seen are commercial receivers. And they don't
Ah,
work on
those
the full auto. Yeah.
those bamboozling bastards.
So what you might think is, "Oh no, then I'll modify one of the civilian ones," but apparently
Yes,
that
yes.
doesn't really work either.
Oh,
Like
god, son of a
they're not
bitch.
compatible like at all.
Damn you,
And the
Steyr.
now
What
there is a
is?
bit of a actually I
What's the
guess it's more
like?
damn you ATF. It's probably ATF telling them not to do that.
Oh, damn
But
you, BTAFUCFKL something.
so there is an option if you go through a company called Titus Arms.
Okay,
Or
what's the
more
option?
specifically, actually it's technically the CAD file is who it's not Titus Arms. Who is it through?
I
Titus
think
Arms
it.
is the ones that make it.
I think it was. Oh, in
Max something.
Nagun.
So okay, so I'm okay. I apologize. It's the no. So it just fucking lost my mind. I'm so happy I don't have to edit any of this shit. Who actually the NYLAUG? It's just called the NYLAUG. Okay, so
Nylog,
either way,
Nylog.
if you want a really cheap AUG, there is an option for you. And if you want a surplus AUG, some of the SME kits, which are to say those are the contract, I think they're
Malaysian,
Malaysian.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. The Malaysian kits, they're contracted from Steyr. So technically they're Steyr AUGs. Or they're AUGs, they're just not made by Steyr.
Is that
Much like MKE license
is
or
by
uses stuff from
HCK?
G3.
Like,
Exactly.
gotcha. I was about to say that, but then you got to it before I did. So,
Sorry,
yep.
motor mouthing. But yeah, so the idea is that you could get this with your own filament printing device, create your own receiver, and very quickly and cheaply make your own surplus AUG, which is cool, right? Like, why would that not be cool?
That sounds cool.
And on its face, it's super cool. But Kevin and I, and this is kind of when we start talking about like what makes sense for us. If we were
Yeah.
talking about like a UMP or a G36, I would
Yep.
say it doesn't really matter because, because spoiler alert, those are going to be purchased by me sooner than anything else because that is now a more real thing in my brain.
Before the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean yeah, for sure. One of the two, not maybe probably not if unless I got rid of something, but I would need it would have to be really
Yep.
attractive. So
You'll have to tune into the last podcast of the year to know if he actually did it.
So in terms of me working with G36 or an AUG or anything like those are guns that I really want and I would have purchased anyway without considering making content. Now, obviously, this isn't like I'm not talking about making money necessarily. I'm talking about my mental bandwidth, like how much I have to play with. And I was telling Kevin, so in my rationale here, I'm thinking the serotonins I'm gonna get from ordering the receiver because I can't print my own. I have to go on the night or I have to go on Titus Tactical or Titus Arms or whatever
Ooh, I can feel the serotonin's building right now.
and purchase the receiver and get it made and then shipped to me. Or I can spend $800 on the pre-builts when they come back in stock. The flip side of that is, I mean, that kind of defeats a lot of the purpose of this
But
for me.
will they come
But
back in stock and when?
yeah, when and where.
How?
So I'm sorry.
No, I was just complaining because you said when, where.
Yeah,
I was
why
gonna
and
say
how.
how, yeah.
So I like the idea of a cheap AUG, but I mean, if that's the end of the thought, like I'm not a big bullpup guy. And I guess we can kind of dovetail into or the next part of this is what is does this make sense for us in terms of content? Like, yeah. So like,
Ooh,
where does
hurricane
this?
gun. Hurricane gun.
And,
An AUG as a hurricane gun.
okay, so for you, in just kind of like a quick thing, like you're thinking hurricane. You're
Well, I
thinking
mean,
that's where that plays
that's
in.
the only use case you can think of. It's a bullpup, so it's already inherently
All
short.
right, all right. While I'm gonna go away for 2 seconds, and I need you to kind of just talk. I need you to look up real quick what the overall length of an AUG is, and I'm gonna go measure my AK to see if it makes any sense.
Of AUG. Styrog,
Yeah,
16-inch. What barrel size?
I mean just the civilian, the standards. Hold on, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me go see. I'm gonna go. Kevin needs to riff.
civilian.
Let's see if he can handle this while I'm gone.
All right,
All right,
I'm
I'm walking
googling.
away.
I'm googling. Okay, I've googled, and the Google has said the overall civilian style AUG A3 M1 rifle, standard 16-inch legal barrel, is 28.15 inches, which is clearly way too big for a hurricane gun. Now, you could get shorter barrels, and that would be optimum. So I guess what would be the shortest barrel you can get? Do, 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 do. Scrolling, looking, and typing.
All right, so what's our measurement here?
Oh, Bryce, you're back. It was 28.15 when the legal 16-inch
28.15
barrel.
folded. All right, so I I just realized I'm about to SBR that gun, so it doesn't really matter what that current measurement is. So I'm just gonna look up the actual factory because that's gonna be the smallest gun that I have. So a factory 104,
Mm-hmm.
which is effectively what mine. It'll be the same length. Stock extended. Okay, what did you say it was?
20.
Okay, so stock extended. Okay, so AK 104 is 23.1 folded.
Well, I was telling the listeners that's when the standard 16-inch barrel. So couldn't you, in theory, get a shorter?
You
Or
could, and
what's the shortest barrel you can get for the AUG?
I don't know. I don't know much about AUGs. I mean, it's not going to be much shorter. Maybe a few more inches. Maybe it's a 14 inch or a 12 inch. Shorter AUG barrel. Here's a 14. Ooh, I was right. 14-inch. Yeah, because you start getting short further and further back to the gas block, and then you have nowhere to go. So I think
Right.
the shortest you can go realistically, I think is like 14
14.5.
inches. Yeah, it is. Okay. So I mean, and then you'd have to SBR it too,
Right.
because the overall length is too.
And you only get 2 extra inches from that. So I guess 28
Well, okay,
28
so
inches.
I
That's
mean,
still pretty small.
it's that's still, man, that's compelling. That is compelling, and that's like you don't have to extend a stock of any sort. That's just
Also,
put hands on gun.
also, can't you take the barrels off? Like, Aren't the
Yes, you
barrels like
can.
a
Yep.
quick detach? So could it, in theory, work with me now? Work with me. You have two separate pieces to transport somewhere,
Mhm.
and then when you get to the place, the hotel or whatever, you could then put it together.
I mean, absolutely. So, I mean, so I assume you're looking at a picture of an Og, right?
In my
So,
mind,
okay, well, if you see the picture of the Og, that whole section that isn't polymer in front of it, where it's like the gas block and the vertical grip and the barrel, that whole
yeah.
component comes out. So the rest of it is just compact receiver. So absolutely. So I mean, and then on top of that, which what's kind of compelling about the AUG is it has like the Tavor trigger kind of like handle guard. So in theory, if you had the barrel off, I mean that'd be very friendly to be slipping in and out of a bag. So yeah, I mean there's definitely a use case. The the flip side of that is they're not light. I mean they're normal assault rifle, you know, weight. So you know that's to be considered. But I mean it is pretty compelling when you start thinking about it that way. That and they technically there are 9 mil versions of them too. So if you didn't want to have to deal with a 14-inch
Right.
5.56, you don't have to. You can actually. I think the 9 mil guns are like 12-inch. I think they're even smaller. 9 millimeter AUG SBR short barreled rifle. Boop. Yeah, I think. Ooh, I think it's 12. Ooh, 13.8. This is the 13.8-inch 5.56 commando version. That's
Jesus.
adorable. I wonder, man, that's actually kind of a compelling that's a good thought, Kevin. Interesting. So, I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if they have 20 round AUG mags, AUG 20 tanker
Bryce is
magazines.
googling.
Can you hear my
He's
new keyboard, my
he's
clicky keyboard?
clicking. He's clicking his way into the internet.
So they for sure have 40 rounders. I know that because they have a machine gun version of it, but I don't know if they have 20 round AUG mags. Maybe make your own. That'd be kind of cool. I don't think they do though.
Well, does it take P bags?
The NATO version does. So the commercial, if you were to buy a commercial AUG, yeah, you could get the NATO version, which is the one that replicates the military
I
version,
mean,
but it
here
still has a different receiver. What do
on
those go for new?
Gunbroker, I'm on Steyr AUG 8th
Yeah, they're
M2
like $1,900.
2000.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, so
But that I mean
that's okay. And then this brings us
that's like
first.
it's like an investment though,
Okay, this
you know?
this brings us full circle back to where we were talking about earlier though, right? It's like, okay, so what's the point? What's the point for us here? And for me, I mean, like I was talking about with the serotonins run out as soon as the gun's together because I mean, while it sounds really cool, yeah, you can get this AUG together and for $200 you can get a parts kit or $400 you can get a parts kit or whatever. And then however much $200 shipped or transferred or if you make your own, it's a
Yeah.
sub $1,000 AUG. That's super cool. The flip side, however, is that receiver that you're getting made is, I mean, it's gonna shoot, that's fine, but the nylon, it's part of your rail, it's integral. So it's a nylon rail. So it's not a machined rail. I mean, it's not in my mind, it turns it into a forever toy, which is cool. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not something that you would depend your life on. It's something you would shoot at the range and it'd be a talking point for
Yeah,
people.
it's an augish thing. It's
It'd be
augish.
a coffee table piece. You
Yeah,
just
it's
keep it on
something
the
you could
coffee
talk about.
table.
And then you could shoot it, but you're absolutely right. So
If you dressed up
and the
like Carl with a wig, I'll dress up like Bruce Willis.
That's amazing. Well, so that's the other problem for me though, is it is that cheap and it's cool, but then I still have to buy magazines for it. And then it's like, ugh, I don't know. I don't know if I really want an AUG. I know I do like guns. Guns are really cool, but even at a sub $1,000 right now, I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Well, I feel like in history, like Die Hard was the movie we're referencing, where the
Yeah.
guy had the AUG. That was so cool. and then a lot of like all the Counter Strike games
Right.
have the AUG, and then originally it was 7.62 by 51, what the game coded it as. So it was like
What?
the most powerful gun in the game, rifle you can
God,
buy.
so it was as broken as it could have been.
Right. And then they, over time they tuned it down. But it was also grossly expensive. It was like 3,500. It's like the most expensive assault rifle you can buy.
Okay, well, I mean, at least it measured out, or like sort of measured out, evened out.
Yeah.
So I don't. Okay, so what do you think? What, what- I mean,
Range toy, I think yay. Actual
yeah,
serious use case, I don't think
no, I mean
so.
there isn't there. I wouldn't. I can't bring.
And,
I think it'd be
and
really cool,
aren't the
but and
triggers
then
kind of
so the
meh
flip side
too?
of though is that it effectively has no resale. No one wants a nylon receivered rifle, right? Like no one's gonna buy that from me.
No one in their right mind, anyway.
I wouldn't buy one from somebody unless they were like, "Hey, I'll trade this for an airsoft." Like it's not it's a
Well,
thing that's safe to
it's like
shoot as long as you're the one that has only been shooting it.
right. I feel like it's like a nylon. I feel like it's a consumable, albeit like very,
So
you can use it for a long time.
theoretically,
Uh,
technically the bolt's locking into the barrel and it's
yeah,
taking all the pressure. So I
yeah.
mean theoretically it shouldn't be a problem because the gas system's on the barrel and I mean it
Okay.
theoretically it shouldn't be a
I like
problem.
theories and Reddicks.
I don't know what it does when you go boom and bang a lot. I don't know what happens when you drop the gun on the optic that's on the receiver. I mean, it probably breaks.
How
So,
many boom bangs can you get before it bang
yeah, and how
booms?
many, yeah, exactly. How many rounds are you getting out of it? I mean, I think that receiver is probably going to outlive the amount of rounds I would put on it. I guess
50.
that's how because I'm not gonna invest any real ammo into an AUG because I'm just not a bullpup guy. I think they're cool, and I want an AUG just because of Die Hard, and it's my favorite AUG or it's my favorite bullpup. But that's to say I don't like bullpups, and of the things I don't like, this is my favorite.
Why don't you just go balls to the wall and get a FAMAS?
I mean, if they had, I do like the FAMAS.
Or more importantly, find the ammunition for the FAMAS.
Well, so I'm pretty sure that the F2s or the G2s or whatever the hell they're called, I think those are fine for M193 and M855. I think the first generation ones, the lever or I think they were a little bit more picky. I could
Uh,
be wrong, but I can't
maybe.
imagine it doesn't make a lot of sense if their ammo isn't at least sort of backwards compatible.
Yeah. But yeah, Ogs are cool. Bullpums, I think, are a cool idea and concept.
Yeah, I
I don't know if I would want to use one
yeah,
as a
I'm not so at the end of
serious
this, I'm
rifle.
not saying no to the idea of the gun because it is cool. It would be actually it would be even cooler to have an SME gun instead of an actual Steyr gun because you can just buy a commercial Steyr gun.
Right.
But the SME gun, I mean, you can't just buy a Malaysian
Right.
Steyr. I mean, so it's kind of neat. So otherwise, it gives you access to something that you wouldn't really have. But I don't know. I haven't really decided. The
I
the
think.
same company, Titus, whatever the
Mm,
hell,
yeah.
they have kits for VZ61s too. Now that I think
Ooh,
is pretty neat.
that's
Those parts kits are
compelling.
pretty cheap too. So that's a little bit more compelling to me, especially since the ammo is it's still just it's not prohibitively expensive. So although I don't think I don't know. It's 32. Let me look. Sorry, big yawn. How expensive is 32 ACP? 32 ACP.
Hey
How
Google,
expensive?
tell us.
How expensive is this ammo.com?
18 cents a round.
18 cents around. Okay, so it is cheaper to shoot than 5.56. That was my unit of measure. My
How
unit of
much is
measure
it?
here. Is it cheaper to shoot than 5.56? Yeah. Yeah, it's cheaper.
How
Okay.
much is it? Come on.
Oh wait, I thought you were answering that.
No, I'm asking.
Oh,
That was my
I was so
guess.
confused. I'm like, good lord, that was
No,
quick.
my
I'm like, my goodness.
no, I don't have the tism for ammunition prices off the top of
I
my
thought
head.
you
So.
just Googled that quick as hell.
No,
Like
I just
fucking quick draw McFuck over here. Hold on.
I have the tism for ammunition prices off the top of my head at a given time.
I'm the fastest tism in the West.
Can you imagine
32
if you
ACP.
had someone like that, like they put their finger in the air, like they're checking the
Okay, so it
weather?
is 31 cents a round.
No,
And yeah.
that's expensive. I I don't like that. 31 cents a round for that's kind of.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
that's a
32 ACP is like basically 380, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, it's a little, you know. Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay. So 23 cents around. Yeah, 556. So in my brace math, it doesn't make a lot of
Hmm.
sense.
No.
But scorpions are super sick. And I think I found a neat solution for that. But either way, I think we'll have to revisit if I'm getting an AUG or not.
Man,
I don't know.
I
It's
thought you
just
were
not a
gonna.
gun that speaks. Bullpups just don't speak to me.
But they're
Like,
short
yeah,
and they're
but I mean, like the
bullpuppy.
G36 at least has a fucking carry handle. The UMP is the UMP. I don't need a reason for that. No, but I mean, I get shit when we don't talk about when we don't mention a fucking carry handle at least once.
What are these handles in the carry? Crazy.
All right, is that the short barrel? Are we gonna
What the hell?
re?
What the hell is a short barrel?
Oh
We're
fuck!
sitting by a fire.
Fireside. That's right.
Yeah, we
Shit.
are. Yep.
Oh fuck. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
that was
probably
the fireside.
okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. And then the next one,
I'm gonna go smother the fire.
God,
Ow!
don't pee
It's on
on
my
it. It
foot.
always smells bad.
Hey! Don't tell me what to do,
Always
Smokey.
regret peeing. I
Putting out
always
forest
regret
fires
pissing
is
on a
my
fire.
responsibility.
All right, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye bye.